Hello, everybody. Hopefully you can hear me now, and I don't have my mic muted. It doesn't look like it. Um, I want to say hi to everybody in the chat. I see Sovereign Soul, Unchained Mind, Josh 6706, Violet Wings, KDD, Conspiracy, Josh 6706, Jeff Hates Pigs, Lisa, SD666, Mike Shane, Articuto, Ida Anson, let's see, I already mentioned Katie, I think. If not, KDD, Vic Ferrari. Hello, everybody. Glad to see you're all here. Um, This video is to tell you what happened today in the courtroom. So I'm going to hold off just a second here and get some people in here so that we can talk about it. We got 22 of us. We'll give it just a minute or so and see if anybody else shows up. But I'll give the information, and basically there's not a whole lot of information to give. So I see that that Jeff Hates Pigs. Realized that I wasn't ridiculing Sarah, that I didn't do that. I was actually there in support of her. So, um, she had it wasn't a protest. That wasn't even what was said. It was more like an awareness campaign for domestic violence. It had nothing to do with any kind of a protest. So, whenever I found that out last night, I showed up there this morning and I actually helped them. I held a sign that said "Justice for Ironton" right there beside them. So, hello, Jane, Elsie Gal. Me out there. Can everybody hear me all right? Somebody throw me a hell throw a one in the chat, as Sovereign says, for no particular reason, just so that I know that y'all can hear me all right. And I'll get into the details here of what happened in court this morning. Takes a minute for the chat to come through. All right, they say they can hear me. So um, basically, nothing happened. It's going to be continued until Monday. He had asked for the bond to be lowered or dropped. The judge did not do that. Um, Apparently, um, I don't know if it's his girlfriend, his wife, his fiance, ex-wife. I don't know. I don't know him personally, so I don't know how that family dynamic went. But apparently, whoever filed for the protective order had called and asked for that to be dropped. The Brad had brought it up, and the judge suggested to the prosecutor to get a hold of whoever it is wanting to drop that and told them to be there Monday. So that didn't happen either. And the bail has stayed the same. He is still in jail. He was there today in chains and shackles and in a black and white stripe uh, jail outfit. So he is still in jail as of right now and awaiting that arraignment on Monday. The prosecutor wants that moved to the common pleas court, which is how it's going to go anyway. But all that will come out on Monday. So as for now, everything is exactly the same as it was before. Reasonable citizen said holding up signs on a sidewalk is not a protest. Good to know. Well, no, it's not a protest if you're not protesting anything. We weren't protesting anything. We were just bringing awareness to domestic violence and asking for that to stop. That's what that was. We weren't protesting anything. We were just bringing awareness to domestic violence. So, no, not necessarily holding a sign on a sidewalk is not a protest. You could hold a campaign sign for a political candidate on the sidewalk. That wouldn't be a protest. It would just be an advertisement. So, how come they didn't tell people they were doing that? Maybe more would have shown. Glad you covered it. I know that one of the ladies there said that she would have probably had more, but her friend couldn't do it in 6 hours or less. So I guess they just tried to throw it together. But I believe, and if any of them are here in the chat, let me know. But I believe they're going to try to do it again Monday when he comes back in from Scioto County for the arraignment on Monday. I believe they're all going to come back. So if they are, I'll be out there with them again. Trying to read through the chat here, catch up with you guys. Brian H says they're dangerous and violent. I think they're dangerous and violent everywhere. I don't think it's just Ironton. Unfortunately, Ironton is where we are, but I think that's a problem everywhere. I don't think it's just right here. So That is right, LC girl, or LC gal. We all knew about it long before Chile ever got here. As a matter of fact, Chile didn't know until he got here and people started letting him know what was going on. So, you know, Jeebus, absolutely no problem at all, and you'll have my support in anything that we agree on. I don't care to agree to disagree on other things. That's easy. We're always going to have that. I don't expect anyone out there to agree to everything or agree with me 100% in everything I have to say, nor would I probably agree with everything everybody else said. However, for those things like this that we can come together on, there's no reason that we shouldn't. We should support each other 100%. Hope they keep that clown. He deserves to do the time. You're right. Um, I don't know if they are going to um, try to put him through that diversion program. I got to admit, I hope that they don't. But I did say that he should have to pay the same price that anybody else has to pay for that same crime. So, notwithstanding the domestic violence, because that has nothing to do with the drug charges, it's a completely separate charge. On the drug charges, I know that a lot of times here in the Lawrence County area, and especially in Ironton, if it's like your first offense and you really don't have a record, and sometimes even if you do, they try to put you through the what they call their diversion program, where they take those charges, put them on the back burner, and you go through the rehabs, which everybody knows a lot about the rehabs around here. But you go through the rehab process, and as long as you stay clean, they do away with those charges. They're like expunged and done away with. So, I hope that he doesn't get off that easy. But if he does, that is something that they would have done anyway to any other citizen. I feel that he should be held to a higher standard. That's just how I feel about it. Since he was one of the ones helping to get people into that, I think he should. I don't think he should be eligible for that personally. The reason they're extending it to Monday. Sorry about that. I should have explained that. He was supposed to have. I don't think that he thought, and I don't think that anybody thought at the time that he had qualified for a public pretender, or, excuse me, public defender. Shows you how I feel about them. But today, the judge did grant him one because he did not have the money to hire his own attorney. So, being there without counsel is why it did not continue today and why it was set for Monday and no later, to make sure that he had that representation, to have that attorney there with him to represent him. Yes, Lisa, I agree. We should want equal treatment for all. Did he, Jane? I haven't seen that post. She said a educator posted it. He wouldn't. He'd call it off if he hadn't signed by noon tomorrow. I have no idea about that. I'm not really here to talk about the fight or Chile, so I was here to talk about Brad Spoljaric. Um, what do you say, Smitty? How you doing today? Roseanne Mossman. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that correctly. If I'm butchering it, I'm sorry. Good to see everybody in here. Anyway, you have all the information on that. You've seen the video of the quote unquote protest that I was looking for a day or two ago. Apparently, I was given wrong information about that, and I was looking for something that wasn't happening. So, but I did catch it today, and if you watch that video, you'll know what it was all about. So if anybody out there has any questions for me, fire them off. If not, I'm not going to keep you too long today. I've got some other stuff to do this evening. So, Chris V, I'm not exactly sure who is handling the investigation. I'm going to try to find out. What I'd like to see is BCI take it over because, just to make sure, in my opinion, they have to go back and look at every time that he's been on scene, all of his arrests. I would think that somebody should be going back looking through all of that. That's just my opinion, but I think most of you out there would agree that somebody needs to look at every single piece of paper every report that he's filed, and every single uh, piece of body cam footage that come from his camera or anyone else's where he's involved. I think that all needs to be looked at and investigated personally. I'm assuming that they're going to investigate all the way through the department, to make sure that that was on him and him alone. So, you know, I don't know that for a fact, but I'm assuming that that's what should happen, and I believe that's what should happen. If it's not, then we'll all get together and we'll pitch a fit until they get it done. So I would say that BCI should be on it. That's who they say they bring in as a third party to take care of that kind of stuff. So I'm going to assume that's what's going on, but I don't know that to be a fact just yet. Handled by the state police, I don't know. Um, I'm not sure who's got it right now, but when I find out, you will too. I didn't. I was out with the quote unquote protest, so I didn't get to do a lot of talking today to a couple of people that I would have liked to. And of course, I have my own life and things in between, so I had to take my wife to the pharmacy today. Just all that normal life stuff that people have to do. So. Let's see here. I don't see any. Look at the conviction in arrest cases. I was just talking about that, Vic. You probably heard it. I think, I don't know if they're going to, but if they don't, we will. We'll just request it all. Hell, we'll sit down and have a look through it, and we'll see ourselves. But somebody definitely should be looking through it. I was one of the, as far as I know, I was the first one to ask the question about whether or not he had been planting drugs. So yeah, it absolutely has to be. It absolutely has to be looked at. Every single piece of evidence that involves him in any arrest at all needs to be looked at. It's a possibility that there are others involved, Brian. I can't prove it. Everybody has their assumptions. Like I say, I can't prove it, but it may go a little deeper than we know about. The body cam of his arrest, we can petition for that. Try that. They won't give it to me yet. There's no point in me turning it in now because it's an open investigation. So as soon as he's sentenced and all this stuff is over, LC Gal, we definitely will be trying to get all that. All right, guys, I've got dead air here. I don't really have much else to say about it. So, Katie D says, strange point. The cleaning company person he worked for is a drug counselor. Really? I didn't know that. It's quite a lot that I don't know. I don't know everything, and I don't claim to. But that is rather interesting. Maybe I should look a little deeper into that. I'd actually forgot about his cleaning company. I'm going to have to check that out. Start seeing who was involved with that. See what they were cleaning. Somebody said that they would have to be dismissed. I don't know if that's how it works or not. I guess, I have to leave that to people that know a little better than I do. I don't know if it would have to be dismissed, but I guarantee you everything needs to be looked at. That is a fact. What all is available restaurant-wise if you come for the fight? When we get a little closer to that, we'll get us a list there, Salacious. Kathy, there was actually no money mentioned, not in the arrest and not in any of the reports. So I don't know if if he was selling and not just doing. Maybe he had just re-upped and hadn't sold any yet to make any money. So there was no money mentioned. But I do know that he told the judge today that he agreed to sit in jail for the week. He was hoping to get the bond reduced and get out on OR today, but the judge didn't let that happen. So. But he was saying that he agreed to sit in jail for a week because he thought that his family and his kids needed the money more than he needed to pay his bail. So that was why he didn't pay the bail out of his own paycheck. So, well, thank you, Roseanne. I appreciate that. I really do. Try not to be a raving lunatic. I don't always know everything, but I try real hard to know what I'm talking about so that I don't say anything that isn't true. Josh said we're cleaning the evidence room out for sure. That's a serious possibility. Cleaning company would be great for money laundering. I agree with that, Alice. That's also a possibility. Again, these are, I don't have any proof of any of this, but, you never know. Ironton Police Union represented, I assume they would be. Um, I assume every police officer would be union represented by the, what is it, FOP, the Fraternal Order of Police. I'm pretty sure. Yeah, Salty Meat Hook, I would say that BCI and possibly the FBI as well. Somebody's in there. I guarantee it. They have to be. If not, I mean, they know we're going to be crawling all over that if they're not investigating. So, you know, we won't get to know a whole lot about what's going on until it's over, unfortunately. But, and if they don't do it right and we find that out when it's over, then, we'll take care of it then. But Ryan said he can have his wife sell him while he's in there. I don't know. If he's beating on her, maybe she won't be so willing. Violet Wings, I don't know. I asked that same question. That tampering with evidence could have been him taking it from the evidence room or taking it out of vehicles or whatever, or it could have been him trying to cover up the evidence in order to keep himself from getting caught. Again, I wouldn't know. So all I know is that's a charge. No one explained to me why that charge exists. Either he lied to his wife and kids the whole time or his wife was involved. I have heard they were actually split up and not living together. Now, whether that, again, a lot of the things that are being said, I don't have any proof of. All I know are what people were saying about it. So it is possible that she didn't have any clue at all. It is also just as possible that she knew and knows more than we do about it. So. I will get a copy of the police report. That went by pretty quick. I'll be getting copies of everything, but I don't know if they'll let me have that yet since it's an ongoing investigation. I'll ask for it. The worst they can do is tell me no, I suppose. But I will try. I know they're not going to give me anything else or tell me anything else. As they say, it's an open, ongoing investigation. So, they're not going to give me any information at all. Sassy girl, I have no idea where they went, but I would assume that's where they went. They did make the arrest, so I agree with you, Art. The truth will stand the light of day. The investigation is still in progress. And because Ironton has been put on the map, and because I and you and everybody else out there are watching very closely, they're not going to have any choice but to do it right. Because if they don't do it right, it's not like we're not all going to know. They're going to prove everything everybody said was true. So I would assume that they're going to do everything they can to make sure that this goes on without a hitch. They're going to have to investigate. They're going to have to do it. And they're going to have to do it right. So that's my assumption for now, is that they're not really going to have any choice. They're not, they don't want to be looked at the way they are. So in order not to, they're going to have to do it right. So, I have no idea, Chris V. I don't know anything about the police union. I'll be honest, I don't know anything about any unions. I've never had a union job, let alone a police union job. So maybe they do provide it. I really don't know. That's a possibility, Ryan. It's a possibility, or maybe it was the domestic violence that separated them. Maybe they just didn't like each other. Hell, I don't really know. I don't have any answers to that. So I wish that I did, but I don't. Sovereign says, we have investigated ourselves and found that we did nothing wrong, right? Well, that's what I'm talking about. They won't be able to do that in this case. Why? Because everybody's watching. You know, it's not just me and it's not just you. Everybody is watching this case. I promise you. If they don't do it right, oh, they have to do it right because everybody's watching. They have no choice anymore. I do not know about, is that Det Newman? I do not know. I don't even know who that is or what you're talking about there, so I have no idea. I agree with you, Ryan H. If there are others involved, then then he needs to turn over the evidence. But if they're buddies and friends, he may not do that. He may go down and take it and take all the rap. But if there are others involved, they're not going to stop. They're going to keep doing the same thing, and sooner or later, they'll get caught too. There's too many eyes on it, too many noses in the in the mix, smelling what's going on now. So I don't know if he's thought about using the Castro defense or not. Nope, that's a good one though. You're right, Lisa. Some of the accusations are silly. They did arrest him. He is in jail. He was charged. They did not drop the charges. They did not lower the charges. The charges are the same as they were. It's worded different, but it's the same level of a felony either way. Um, so for the moment, he's still on the hook for quite a bit. Saudi, I'll go back and try to find that. You say it's about a year ago. I'll go back and try to find that when I have a few minutes. Yeah, I think you're right, Dark Watch. I think they'll hang him out to dry with this. They're going to have to because everybody's watching. People all over the country, all over the world are watching. So they definitely don't want Chile to be right. So in order to keep it from seeming as though he knows what he's talking about, they definitely have to put him through his paces. You're right, Michelle. It does put a bit of pressure on them. At least while I'm there with my camera, they have to do it right. That camera is a career killer, so they know that. You're right, Jeebus. There's probably a lot more to that story. You know, I just don't want to go too far and say too much on here. So I have my own thoughts and my own I got my own conclusions I've come to about certain things too. So yeah, come on back, Ryan H. Might as well jump in all over it. We're here. We'll be here waiting on you when you get here. I agree with you, Jane. That's what I was saying. They'll probably make an example of him just to prove Chili's wrong, or at least try to. Oh, you're right, Lisa. There are some that want to, but the ones that don't want to, they don't have a choice, is what I was saying. So even the ones that normally might have tried to sweep this away or throw it under the rug, it can't happen now, even if they wanted to. But you are correct. There are some good officers, I believe, and they want it to happen. They absolutely want it to happen because it's a black eye and a stain to them. You know, not every single officer in there was involved in this. I can tell you that. I know that for a fact. Not every one of them were involved. The ones that were know who they are, and I'd say they're probably shitting pins and needles about right now, worried that the rest of us are going to find that out. Where were the drugs found? That I don't know. I still see we can't get any information. I've heard conflicting stories and reports. I've heard that he was actually arrested in his vehicle, and that's where the drugs were. I've heard that he was at Patrolman McKnight or Sergeant McKnight's house, and that's where the drugs were. I've heard so many conflicting stories. I have no concrete proof of any of the accusations or stories that have come out. So until I find out, I can't answer that question. I don't know where the drugs were exactly. I believe you're right, Montauk Tom. No one hates a bad cop more than a good cop. The few good cops out there definitely hate the bad cops. Like I say, it's a black eye and a stain on their profession. Somebody said they all knew. Nah, I don't believe that a bit. I don't believe that a bit. But we can agree to disagree on that fact. You're right. There's good and bad and all. There's good and bad in police officers and people that work at McDonald's. There's good and bad everywhere. Somebody said that I said there was changes. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. I didn't say there was any changes. I said nothing had changed. The wording had changed, I think, from trafficking to aggravated possession. Somebody had said trafficking earlier. I think it was actually come in as what they call aggravated possession. I don't know why they word it like aggravated possession. It just makes it sound like he was pissed off because he had it, aggravated possession. But anyway, that carries the same felony level. So that's what I was saying. The levels, the punishments of the charges that are coming in are exactly the same as they would have been either way. So nothing really has changed, just the wording. They might, Art. They might still be here, them damn penguins. Brian H., I think you're right. There's one and possibly two. Like I said, I have my ideas too, but I don't want to say too much, and I definitely don't want to give any names. But we all are suspicious now. Some of us were suspicious before, even though we didn't mention it. But we all have our suspicions, and now we just have to wait until just have to wait until we get the truth out. Is that true, Lisa? Was he actually charged with trafficking in the beginning? Is my question. Like I said, I've heard so many conflicting things, and until I see the report, I won't know what exactly is written on it. So it's not about it just being the wording. AFE. Don't try to get on here and twist my words and make me into an idiot. I'm not going to play this game back and forth with you. It's not worth my time. I've given you the information. If you don't like it, I don't know what to tell you about it. I'm not in control of any of it. I can't control anything that they're doing or anything that they will do. So it's not my fault, and it's not on me. You're right, Bobby Bishop. See, a lot of people want to talk about the amount, and a lot of times they will charge you with trafficking, and it'll get reduced to possession because they have no proof you ever sold to anybody. That's what people don't seem to understand about trafficking. You know, trafficking, you have to prove that it was sold, that it was actually taken from one place to another and sold to somebody else, and that's probably what they don't have. That doesn't mean that it didn't happen, and it doesn't mean that we don't believe that it happened, because we believe that it happened, but we can't prove that. So I don't know, Randall Martin. I don't think they're going to go any lighter on them. They can't, because we're all watching. They have to do something, and they have to do it right, because we're all watching. It's not like they can sweep this under the rug now. It's already out there. And I will say something for Ironton Police Department. When it was brought to light, they did arrest him. He is in jail, and they did charge him. Now, what the prosecutor and the district attorney and the judge do, it's now out of Ironton Police Department's hands. They have no say-so over what happens after they charge him and jail him. So, but they did do their job. We might agree that they don't always do it the way we want them to do it, but in this instance, they did take down a bad cop. Hopefully, they are able to investigate and find any other conspirators that were in here and do the same for them. Thank you, Roseanne. I appreciate that. I appreciate that. Appreciate it very much. Lisa said he's charged with aggravated possession, which is a second-degree felony, which has a sentence of 2 to 8 years and up to a $15,000 fine. Wow, that's a lot of money. That's a lot of money. Wow, at least it is to me. Of course, $15 some days is a lot to me. So 15,000 is way up there. I got to be honest, I've never even spent that much on a vehicle. The average person's probably spent double that. I've never even spent that on a vehicle. So, for me, that's a lot of money. Didn't I used to go on ride-alongs with this cop daily? No, I was on one ride-along one time with that cop on one day. I have ridden 5 separate times on 5 different days with 5 different officers. And given the opportunity, I will ride with some more. So, but no, I didn't ride with that cop daily at all, Andrew. I don't know where you got that, but no, that didn't happen. No, I never licked his boots. Nice try, though. I love you guys that have no sense to think for yourselves. You know, go watch the videos. You know, just because I don't cuss him out doesn't mean that I lick his boots. You guys are so left, right minded. You ain't got sense enough to think for yourselves. That's terrible. Gosh, absolutely terrible. Let's see. The amount is higher than normal for personal use. Well, I guess that depends. I know people that smoke a lot of weed, and years ago, anything over an ounce was considered more. Well, anything over a few grams was more than personal use, even though some people had a pound or two saved back in mason jars in their home, and that was all personal use, and they didn't sell any. So it is possible to have more than what people consider personal use to have for personal use. Some people like to hoard. Some people like to hoard drugs the same as they hoard anything else. I'm not defending him in it. I'm just saying, you know, anything's possible at this point. So, you know, I didn't speculate anything, AFE. All I did was give you the facts that I had. Now, any opinion that I give you, whether you like my opinion or not, I don't care. It's not about that. I'm allowed to have one the same as anybody else, but I did give you the facts as I have them. And again, I don't know everything. I only know what I can find out. Um, Say using those 2 cops as fall guys. I don't know what 2 cops you're talking about right now. There's only one involved, and that's Brad Spoljaric. So although McKnight's name was mentioned, um, he's not taking the fall for anything. He's still out there. So I'm not sure where you're getting the 2 cops. And you're right. All that stuff does start at the top and leak down generally, but that doesn't mean that because there's one bad cop at the bottom that it came from the top. So just know that. You know, I know it's easy to assume, but that doesn't make it true just because it's an assumption. Hey, Dark Watch, if I don't feed the trolls, man, they'll starve to death. Somebody's got to throw them some bait. Somebody's got to get on here and say something so they can make a funny video about me later. I like to go watch some of those. I actually get a kick out of it. So Rights On's made a few. You know, I can sit around and laugh with the best of them. I don't mind to laugh at me either. Hello, Tones. How you doing? No problem that you're late. I'm just glad that you showed up to take a look at it. So I appreciate you being here, man. Well, you guys have a lot to say today. It's hard to keep up with the chat. It's going by so fast. You're right, Bobby. They have ways of looking, and I'm sure that they are. I'm sure they're going through his phone and anybody that he has messaged. I'm sure that they're calling them in. I'm sure they have warrants on other people. I'm assuming, you know, I say I'm sure, but I'm not sure. It's an assumption right now. I have to assume some things. I have to speculate because I don't have all of the truth. But if this goes any deeper, then they have to be looking for it. And you know, I'm certain that they are doing that. I hope they're doing that anyway. They better be doing that because, like I said, if they don't, then we're going to have to do it ourselves. And you know, it's going to be tough, but we can do it. You're right, Ryan H. It's almost impossible for everybody to know all of the laws, but most cops don't have to deal with every law out there. They only have to deal with local rules, regulations, and ordinances. Most of them don't have to deal with any real laws at all, for the most part. Most of what people are caught up with in their own police department, their local police department doesn't really have anything to do with breaking most laws. It's just the ordinances, you know, of the local ordinances of whatever city, village, or you know, whatever you want to call it. You know, then there's the whole argument as to whether or not those are actually uh, laws or not. I say they're not because they're not even called laws. They're called ordinances for a reason. It's because they're not laws. There's only one lawmaker, and he made the law, and every other quote unquote law and ordinance is basically based on that. You know, don't lie, don't steal, don't kill. all that stuff, that all comes from the actual lawmaker. So these people that call themselves lawmakers, they're not lawmakers. They're just assholes in suits and ties that like to pretend like they have a better reason to control you than you do to control yourself. So two-faced Terry, as if you'd know, Andrew. You obviously don't know anything about me, bub, but you go right ahead. Hurting my feelings is something that you can't do. You can try, but that just ain't going to work out for you. Now, then, if you can't see the people in the chat will take up for me, hell, I don't even have to do it myself. That's the best part. Rebrand as Ironton Prepper. Keeps the pressure on the DA. Right. That's what we need to do. They need to stick it to him. They need to stick it to him the same as they'd stick it to you or me. That is a fact. He needs to pay the full price. And I don't think there should be any leniency toward him at all, simply because he did have a badge and he did put people in jail for that. He did ruin lives because of that. And that alone should stop any type of leniency whatsoever from the justice system. He should have to face the full maximum penalty of everything, in my opinion. Again, that's my opinion. Not that anyone really cares about my opinion, but I think that he should have to pay the full maximum jail time and the full maximum fine, the full maximum of everything, simply because he should be held to a higher standard. He is a police officer. He has taken people to jail and pretty much ruined their lives for that exact thing. So yeah, I don't think there should be any leniency at all. Actually, Andrew, if you go back and watch the very first video that I did when I got out with the same guy that we're talking about, Sergeant Spoljaric, down on 3rd Street, you'll hear me say, I do not hate law enforcement. So, no, that's not true. I've never said that I ever hated cops, and I've not really praised them either. The other guy that I ride with, he tells them how great they do all the time. I actually never tell them that at all. I tell them to be safe. I don't tell them how great of a job they do. So you're just on here flapping your gums and obviously have no idea what you're talking about. Unable to think for yourself unless someone else tells you, apparently. Go back and ask Chili. I'm sure he'll tell you something. Montauk Tom, thank you. I just seen that. $20 gas money for your audits, the gold standard. Well, I appreciate it. Thank you very much. I'll sure throw that in for gas. The $20 will take me a few places these days. That'll get me through town a little bit. Maybe catch some more cherries and berries, but I sure do appreciate it. Roseanne, I don't know why anybody trolls me either. The ones that normally troll me are chili lovers who just have a vendetta. Because he doesn't like me, they have to come on here and not like me. They're unable to think for themselves. That's it. They just can't think for themselves. They let Chili do the thinking for them and do the speaking for them. Then they come on here and just, mine a bird everything that he says. So, if they actually knew anything, then, they might actually be able to come up with something, but they don't know anything about me. As a matter of fact, some of the ladies out there at the quote unquote protest today, the domestic violence awareness thing that we had, they left with a different opinion of me today too after meeting me. And the reason is because a lot of people have preconceived notions about who I am and what I think, but they really don't have any clue. When they meet me and they find out who I am and what I actually believe, everything changes, and they realize that I'm not the guy that they thought I was. So you can ask some of those ladies too, even they'll tell you today that I'm not quite the guy they thought I was when I walked up there. Is it true Chip's TV show was really real? I don't think there's ever been anything ever real on a TV, in my opinion. There's, that's TV. There's nothing real there. So yeah, I doubt it's serious. Live 40 minutes from Ironton and shit rolls downhill. Well, hopefully it's downhill all the way. If you live that close, grab a camera. Come on in and help out. We could use your help. Or I could. Me and American Pride could. We're only 2 people. Sorry, guys. I know I'm a little far behind in the chat. I'll have a lot to say, so I'm trying to keep up, but it's difficult. There's a lot in here, so got to run. Thank you, KJ. Appreciate you being here. I agree, Michelle. Police should be held to a higher standard. Yes, Lisa. Everybody does a lot of plea bargaining. That's not just Lawrence County. That's everywhere. There's a lot of bargaining everywhere. So I'm certain that goes on in every court in the country. Who's currently the DA? Right now, I'm assuming it's the city, but he's trying to get it put over into the common pleas to get it out of the city. I think, just because it does seem like a conflict of interest. So, we'll know more Monday. Monday, I'll be able to tell you a whole lot more. So let's see what happens on Monday, since nothing really happened today, and we'll know more about it on Monday. Thank you for backing me up there, Tones. I appreciate it. Chili made this happen. Chili didn't make anything happen. Anybody that would say that obviously doesn't know what they're talking about. Chili didn't make anything happen. Chili didn't know anything was happening here until he got here. You're right, Michelle. I don't salute the cops like Chili does. But Chili is learning from me. He's learning not to be such an asshole to the police, and he gets a whole lot further that way. Andrew, actually, I never said that I dislike the Ironton police. I've never said that. I don't know why you're saying that. I talked about police in general, but never the Ironton police. As a matter of fact, I've said the whole time I don't know any of the police in Ironton. I only know them from getting out there and being on the sidewalk and riding in their cars. Other than that, I don't know any of them personally. I never have, because I don't live in town. So I've never known any of them. So I don't think you quite know what you're talking about. I think you're trying to put words in my mouth and twist things around for your own agenda, but it's not going to work. You can keep trying though. Ryan H., you're right. There have been a lot that have died. I don't know that I would assign their deaths to the person that sold it to them. If you're dumb enough to do drugs, then you have to be ready for the consequences that come. So if you're actually going to pay for that stuff, then you deserve whatever you get. I mean, I know that kind of sounds harsh, but that's how I feel about it. I wouldn't go back and arrest the dealer because somebody died on his product. The person on his product ought to already know that. And if they don't, then they shouldn't buy the product. That's just my personal opinion on that. Chili says, when you're trolled, you must be right above the target. That's a possibility, Lisa. I wouldn't know. I don't know anything about trolling or getting trolled so much. So, I know I get trolled. Alice Caffrey, thank you. There's I'm not sure what that mark means. It's not dollars. It might be euros. I'm not sure. I'm not versed in other countries' money, but it's a $5 super sticker. Thank you very much. I appreciate it. And you're right, Philip. They took him to Scioto County because they didn't want to put him in jail with people that they, and I'm glad that they do. They need to take care of him like a little baby. I don't want him getting hurt. I want him staying safe so that he can pay the price in full. I don't want anything happening to him until after he's sentenced, for sure. After Chili left, I flipped. What are you talking about? You don't know what you're talking about, Andrew, unfortunately. You think you do, but you don't. So you're right, Ryan. I am a little bit more patient, but you have to be. If you're going to go after real change, there's nothing instant in the world except for communication. A lot of people, we get used to instant messaging and direct messaging these days, and we kind of have it's kind of like we're all running around like 3-year-olds, like we have serious impulse control problems, and the older I get, the more I learn about patience, and real change is going to take patience, basically, because somebody else is going to have to help me. I can't do everything alone. And right now I feel like a one-man band. I'm really the only guy out here touting this stuff locally. And until some people join me, there's absolutely nothing that I can change by myself. Screaming and hollering on the side of the road at a police officer is not going to change a thing. They have no say so over the rules, laws, and ordinances that they enforce. You know, they don't write them; they have to enforce. Well, they're duty bound to enforce them. They do have some discretion as to what they do, and I know that some have not enforced some of that stupid stuff. Others enforce it every single time they get in that car or pull someone over. So, you know, um, put out in the general population. I don't think so, Christina, because they'll hurt him or kill him, and I don't want that to happen. I want him to be safe until he's sentenced. Once he's sentenced, I don't care where they put him, but he needs to be sentenced to the fullest extent of the law because he has put people there. So that's the reason I say they shouldn't put him in general population. If I have to, I'll protect his life myself because I want him to appear in front of the judge and I want him to go down for it. I don't want anything to happen. I don't want it to be an easy out. There should be no easy outs for him, not even the general pop killing him. That'd be too easy. We don't want that. You're right, Ida. If they knew me, they would know that I don't hide behind that camera. Well, I tell you what, Amador County concerned, you might think that Chile is trying to change things, and I believe that Chile thought in the beginning that he was trying to change things. However, my question is what has he changed and how much closer is he? Now, I'm not the one claiming that I can change things. I've never claimed that. He did. So my question is, what did he change? Because he hasn't changed anything, and he's no closer to changing anything. Filing federal lawsuits will not change a thing. I mean, you should already know that. He's already filed several, and nothing's any different. As a matter of fact, they keep getting dismissed, and it's because he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. So what he's doing is not going to fix anything, and it's not going to change anything. There are ways to do that. There are ways to redress government. That's in the First Amendment. We have the right to do that, but it has to be done appropriately. Uh, some people think that means a protest, but that's the reason they don't use the word protest in the First Amendment. You don't actually have the right to protest. You have the right to redress government for grievances. That doesn't mean to scream slogans and build signs and stand on a sidewalk. There are proper ways to redress government, but until a few people get together to get it done, it's not going to happen. So, we need more than one person's opinion on a piece of paper. So, we need help with that. There's the right way to redress government. Everything else is just something that people assume must be the way to do it. Man, I can't even keep up, you guys. You guys have so much to say today. I'm glad to see everybody's active in here. I appreciate y'all coming in. No problem, Ginger. He hasn't done anything. All he does is run his mouth. He's not going to accomplish anything that way. Andrew, I've had the bull by the horns. You don't know anything about me. That's what I've been trying to tell you. You know nothing. You assume that what you've seen on the camera is all there is, and that's where you're failing because you're assuming. You don't know anything. All you see is the videos I put out. You want to come and get to know me, come and get to know me. Don't assume that you know everything from watching a video. That's silliness. You're right, Andrew. I dislike cops in general, not cops, but bad cops. There's a big difference. I've never said that I hated law enforcement. I hate the laws in this country. I hate the bullshit that they put on paper that they call laws that we have to follow. That's what I hate. And the only way to change that is not screaming at the cops. That's not going to change it, you know. How can I say Chile didn't expose them pigs? Well, I can say that because Chile didn't really do anything. All he did was talk about it on YouTube. The ones that live here are the ones that told him. In case you don't know where Chile got his information, go back and watch his videos. It was me and other people who told him what was going on here. So the only thing that he brought me on to was YouTube. So, there you go. That's how I can say that he didn't really do anything, because he didn't really do anything except for run his mouth. That was it. Now, because he did run his mouth, a lot of other people across the internet, across YouTube, and a couple people here in town have united. Not because he did a great job and not because he did anything that mattered, but because he pissed them off, and they decided to come out and join us. So there you go. Jane, might be because I'm becoming half famous. I don't know about that. I don't want to be half famous for sure, but Chili can have all the fame. I'm not worried about the fame. Let him have it all. You're right, Vic. Attention to corruption is a good thing. And the only attention that he brought was attention to people that don't live here. The people that live here already know about it. You know, that's all I'm saying. You're right, but it was those who are still fighting the fight that are still there, and that really, yeah, you're exactly right. So, are we getting bad weather? I don't know. I haven't. It looks like this. I can't see the sun right now, so it might be getting ready to rain out there. I don't know, but for the moment, it's not doing anything. You're probably right, Ryan. But then I'm used to the haters. I get those a lot. I don't care. You know, you got like I said, you got to feed the trolls so they'll starve to death. My goodness, you got to give them something to make videos on later. No, Tones, I didn't see how Chili treated anybody because I never watched Chili. I only hear about him from other people like you, and a few people send me clips here and there if it has to deal with me, but I don't watch anything of his. So, never said you were trying to be a dick, Andrew. You're just trying to push an agenda here in my chat. That's what you're trying to do, which kind of makes you a dick, but you know, hey, whatever. I don't hold anything against you. I'm only going to answer what you throw out there, not because I feel like I have to defend myself, just because I want to point out the idiocy of some of the things that are being said. Too many people think that I have switched sides. I've not switched sides, so you know I'm just not going to allow that to come out like that. Wow. I'm glad to see you are having such a huge conversation through here. I'm glad for all the interaction. You know, this is what we need: people to talk. The more we talk, the more we can agree and learn how to agree to disagree, and maybe even stand together on some things. That's what we need to do. So, especially right now with what's going on in there, we definitely need to be together. I can't even find the end of the chat right now. I assume I'm so far behind. There we go. There's the actual end of it. Hi, Tina. It's going by so fast. There we go. I think maybe I finally got caught up. If I missed anything in there, I missed any comments that were directed to me, throw them back in there again. But I think I finally caught up to the end of it. Um, I appreciate y'all in here. I sure do. I love the interaction. The one thing I really love to do is talk with people. So, did I hear the rumors the car seat cushion has what? Did I hear the rumors the car seat cushion has XXL tags? I'm not even sure what you're talking about, Dr. Professor Neweyberger. I'm not sure what you're talking about there. Apparently, I haven't heard those rumors, but I'm not even sure about what you're talking about. So, unless you're talking about my size, and then I probably don't need that big of a car seat. I can probably fit in the average kid's car seat anyway. So, I know I can still ride their Power Wheels cars without breaking the weight limit on it. So I can still ride the Barbie cars for crying out loud. I think you're right, Tones. I think that if they were half as bad as some of them claim that they are, some of them like Chile, because not all auditors are exactly like those. Those are kind of the extremes. But you're right. If they were that bad, the cops would have done shot them, tased the hell out of them, and shot them, and that would have been the end of that. There wouldn't be anybody else out there to complain. So I guess I do agree with that. Hello, Sue. How you doing today? Good to see you in here. Glad that you came. Now, wait a minute here, Andrew. You're talking about me being in Brad's cruiser, saying, see, guys, they're not all bad. Uh, Violating someone's rights. I have not witnessed any rights violations, and neither of you on my camera. There are a lot of people that they consent to those searches. I can't help that. And when I'm in their vehicle, I'm not allowed to get out. So I was filming from the inside in case you didn't notice. Hey Ryan, you have a good day too, man. Thanks for coming. Glad to see you here always. And yeah, go get them fed. I think I just heard thunder here, so I think it's about ready to break out here as well. You're right, Bobby. That's why I keep saying we the people need to stand up together, because we do have to start at the bottom and work our way up. That's the only way to get it done. It's not like we're all just going to start in Washington and take over the country. That's called a coup, and we don't want that. So we do have to start at the bottom. Hello, Daniel Ramirez. How you doing? Thank you, Jackie. I appreciate it. And you're right. I do try to say I don't know when I don't know. I might give an opinion, but I always try to let you know that that's my opinion or a theoretical thought. That I try to only make accusations. I don't repeat accusations that I don't have proof for. At least I try not to. You know, I don't want to be the one to slander or anything. I don't want to put that out about someone if it isn't true, and I don't want to put it out even if it is true if I can't prove it, because if I can't prove it, it's not about that. What I found is it's not what you know, it's what you can prove that matters. Thank you, Roseanne. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And you're right, Tina. Chile isn't changing a damn thing. Although he's making a lot of money on his thing trying, acting like he's trying anyway. Where did that go? Yeah, he isn't going to steal and do drugs with me watching him. I had people ask if I noticed anything when I was in his car. Like, what? You thought he took me on drug runs when I was in his police vehicle? Come on now. Yeah, that didn't happen. So, no, I didn't notice anything, and neither did some of the ones that work close with him. But you have to understand, if he's a cop, he knows exactly what they're looking for. It's actually easier for him to hide something like that than it is for the average person, because he knows exactly what they're looking for. So it's a little bit easier for him to hide that. Hello, Mitten State. Good to see you here today. Always good to see you. I see Mr. Four Twitch in there as well again. 805 writes camera action. You're right, I could say that, but here's the thing. Is it my job to tell you what your rights are, or is it your responsibility to know your rights? Which is that? That's a good question for you there, rights camera action. Is it my job to tell people what their rights are, or is it their responsibility to know? Abrams is a succulent peach. Kyle, that's a funny one. Elsie Gal, I agree with that statement completely. I agree with you right there. Be a teacher, is that so hard? I don't want to be a teacher. If I'd want to be a teacher, I'd be in a school teaching. Um, I would think that most people, if they're worried about their rights, they should go read the Bill of Rights to know what that is, instead of watching the damn TV and assuming it means when they have a phone call. That's what most people think their rights are. They think they have the right to a phone call. So, maybe that should rest on the person and not on me. I didn't do anything to make them ignorant, so it's not my job to smarten them up. Just saying. I have, Andrew. As a matter of fact, I've given out copies of the Bill of Rights to anybody that wanted one. But I'm not going to jump in the middle of an active investigation and a police stop. If they give consent, it's not my job to tell them they can revoke it. If they know that if they were asked and they know that they have to give it, they obviously know that they have the right to revoke it. Otherwise, they wouldn't have given it. So they obviously felt like they wouldn't have anything to to hide. So just saying. Yeah, I never kissed Brad's ass. And you're right, he is in jail, but that has nothing to do with me. So, I don't know why you keep bringing it up like I had something to do with it. I didn't have anything to do with it, whether he was in or out of jail. And I never kissed his ass. So all I did was video him. That's not kissing his ass. That's what I say, naughty hippo. People don't like the way I do it. Maybe they should come and do it themselves. I agree completely. I've even asked them to, but I haven't found anybody with cojones as big as mine yet. They all want to sit around and act like I'm a coward or something because I don't say anything, but I don't see anybody else out there with a camera, whether they're saying anything or not. The only person I ever see is me and American Pride, Ohio. We're the only two with the big brass cojones. I don't see anybody else anywhere near this town doing what we do. So while they all like to talk about it, they sure aren't showing us their bravery, are they? You're right, Bobby. It should be taught, but it's not taught. It used to be, but it's not anymore. That's why parents should do it at home. See, it's not about telling the teachers what they should teach in school because they teach what the state tells them they have to teach. I put that responsibility strictly on the parents. Um, you have to teach your own children. If you don't teach your own children, don't blame the state because they didn't teach them. Man up and teach them yourself. If you're a mother, if you're a father, and you care about your children, teach them. Teach them right from wrong. Teach them good and bad. Teach them their rights. Teach them those things. Yeah, Andrew, you obviously get a vibe somewhere, but that vibe is not true. I don't know any of these people. We're not buddy buddies. We don't have phone conversations. We don't have cookouts. We don't hang out after work. I don't know any of these guys. All you see is what you see on my camera. That's not me being their buddy. Just because I'm cordial does not mean we're friends. As a matter of fact, they're not really even acquaintances of mine. They're just people that I know because the only difference is I don't come out with misconstrued ideas and assumptions based on absolutely no proof whatsoever, like you obviously do. You assume a lot without knowing anything. I'll say it rights camera action. Well, I'm glad you have such big ones. I bet they clack when you walk. Then I know mine do, for a fact. That's why I'm out there, by the way. All right, guys. Looks like this is starting to wind down as far as anybody really having anything to add to the conversation. I've just got some trolls that need some feeding, poor starving little fuckers. We don't want them starving to death. Got to throw them a little meat every now and then. So, but we're going to have to call this quits here. It's been about an hour, and I've got some other things to do, and I've got to get back in there. I'm trying to help Eugene get his house remodeled. We got most of the plumbing done. Got a hot water tank to install tonight, and he'll have his water on. So that way he'll have all the good stuff in life like everybody else, and then I can come back home and do nothing. Maybe a couple setback relax. So appreciate y'all joining me here today. I love talking with you. I wish I had time to do more lives because I love getting on here and interacting. I love the information. I love to see and talk to the people, and it's nice to know that even if people aren't in the local area, that they are still ready to stand. So guys, all I ask is when it gets to your area, when people start to stand up with them. Just know that you don't have to agree with everything someone says or everything someone believes. That's not necessary. That's what makes it's what makes America, what's supposed to make America the great melting pot great, was that we were all different with different ideas and different backgrounds and different thoughts, and yet we could still come together and be the United States. You know, and it's because there are certain things that we can agree on. We can agree on the things that keep us safe. We can agree on, don't kill, don't steal, all that kind of stuff. We all agree on that. So let's agree to agree with what we can agree about. and then we can agree to disagree without arguing, bitching, and fighting over the things that we disagree about. We don't have to agree on everything. We don't even have to agree on everything to be friends. I don't know why everybody thinks that, but it's not necessary. Remember, guys, united we stand. And that doesn't mean that we are united in thought and speech. It just means we are united in certain things. So, guys, I hope you all have a wonderful evening, whether it's raining or not. It looks like it's starting to here. So I guess we're going to get some of that bad weather they were asking me about there earlier. But I hope that all of you have a great night. And you guys know that if I can catch more, I'll sure be on here to let you know. And the only reason I didn't go live with him with all this stuff originally is because I was on Sovereign Souls Unchained Minds channel whenever I found out. And by then, everybody else had already went live. So there's really no reason for me to get on and tell all the same people all the same stuff. So, but I will keep you updated as I find out. And Monday we will know more about the case and everything that's going on. So for right now, just know it's been continued to Monday, and absolutely everything's still the same. Nothing's changed. So y'all have a great night. And for the moment, Ironton Auditor out. Love each and every one of you. Thanks for joining me tonight.